It was a measure of my confidence not only in the nature of the course, but also in the guys that I could only foresee one outcome. The evening before the race, Brian Home came to our team hotel. I was getting my massage when he arrived, so Brian chatted to Dave and Brad Wiggins while he waited. "I saw the races today." "You're going to win this, aren't you?" Brian said when I finally appeared. "Yeah, I am. I'm going to win," I told him. Brian paused. "Shit, I'm nervous." Nervous, I think, was the wrong word. I think he meant that he was excited. Brian always says that when I'm sure I'm unbeatable, like I was that day. It's been the same ever since we met at the Tour of Britain in 2006, when I was a mouthy 21-year-old stagiaire, cycling speak-for-work experience boy, and he called me a fat fuck for disobeying his orders to get to the front midway through the very first stage. Over the years, Brian had become a kind of father, brother, and mentor. I was lucky to be rooming with another one of those that week in Dave. There are some riders, like Brad, who will always room alone given the choice, but it drives me absolutely crazy. If a roommate goes home early from a race or training camp, I'm climbing the walls within hours, pestering the management to be put with someone else. Dave and I woke to sunshine the morning of the race. We ate breakfast, got ready, then climbed into the bus. I was quiet, quieter than usual. I rarely get nervous because I keep my mind too busy. Sudoku, logic puzzles, visualization, all full gas. Every pro bike rider trains his legs, but very few train their mind. The only muscle they use to make decisions in races. It mystifies me. The more you keep your brain active, the more it's wearing away and the less likely it is to get sabotaged by the kind of anxiety that can cause mistakes and compromise a performance. Winning the Worlds, and before that, ensuring it finished in a sprint, was also a logic puzzle that needed to be solved. To help us, in the days leading up to the race, we'd spoken to other teams who also had strong sprinters and might therefore want the same kind of finale. The Americans, the Australians, and the Germans. They said they'd give us a hand, but we all knew that the main responsibility would fall to the team with the fastest sprinter. Unanimously acknowledged, namely me. For that reason, it was better that we were prepared to lead the race for all 266 kilometres, something that for any other team would be an impossible task, but which this one was going to relish. It took a special group of guys to achieve that. There would be no personal glory for my teammates, only sacrifice for the benefit of a rider who, for most of them, was an opponent in every other race of the season. That was the inherent contradiction of the Worlds. For one day, arguably the most important of the cycling season, allegiances to trade teams, companies to whom riders owed their livelihoods, were set aside in the name of patriotism. This was why a lot of national federations, though not British Cycling, put up a sizable bonus to be shared among the riders in case of victory. It was compensation for what those guys would have given up. Before we got off the bus, I said it one more time. If we do everything 100% right, we'll win this. It was the kind of thing that's said in every team bus by every team leader or directeur sportif before every race. What we did over the next 6 hours would determine whether it was cliché or prophecy. The World Championship road race generally follows a familiar pattern. A relatively large break of unfancied riders goes up the road early, the speed in the main group settles, and the major cycling nations, Italy, Holland, Spain, Belgium and so on, share the pacemaking to ensure that the breakaway's advantage doesn't become irretrievable. When it's brought back, which it usually is with between 20 and 50 kilometres to go, the serious, potentially race-winning attacks begin. It may seem a counterintuitive way to operate, but no team can control a race from start to finish, and certainly not a World Championship road race. Or so everyone had thought. For the first 28 kilometres from Copenhagen to the circuit in Rudersdal, where we'll then complete 17 laps of a 14.3 kilometre loop, we don't lead. We're also happy to let the usual, we hope harmless, move clip off the front shortly after reaching Rudersdal and the start of the circuits. By then, though, we're in complete command, with Ian Stannard and Geraint Thomas pouncing on any break that's too strong or too big and could pose a threat to our plan. When we're finally happy with the group that has formed, our red and blue jerseys mass to the front and Britannia rules. And rules for the next 5 hours. The experts have been saying ever since it was unveiled more than a year ago